As our solo Balkan trip continues through Montenegro, we had a 3-day farm stay in Centinje, which is in the southern third of Montenegro. The roads were narrow and single-laned. I seemed to drive 30 minutes without seeing any lived-in houses. Sadly, a lot of small villages are abandoned as people can no longer live off the land and people moved for jobs into the bigger towns and cities. These 3 days gave me incredible hiking and I enjoyed the most wonderful views. The owner of the property was born on this farm and had also moved away. It was only in his retirement that he moved back and got himself some sheep, chickens, a horse and a donkey. He was able to live his life enjoying his hobbies like beekeeping and maintaining his vegetable garden. To fund this lifestyle, he converted a house into an Airbnb. Let me show you the house. There were other houses above the one I stayed in, but they were empty and belonged to someone else. The stone cottage was a farm-style house and the upstairs had plenty of beds for families to stay in. The best part was the outdoor patio and garden. The girls befriended the host's dog. He was a gentle soul and liked to come with us on walks. He would often show us routes that we wouldn't have found otherwise. The vegetable garden was huge. The host had planted loads of herbs, potatoes, peppers, and the tomatoes. The tomatoes were as big as my hand. I relaxed while the dogs played. Foxy tried to teach Chase, but there must have been a dog language barrier. This room was the original house the farmer was born in and where he was raised with his 4 siblings. They liked to have outdoor kitchens here. We arrived late afternoon, so we just did a small walk to scope out the hikes we would do the next few days. We met the chickens and headed up to the hills. There were some more dogs that were not allowed to run around. I felt a bit sad for them. I think a huge problem is that many people in the Balkans don't want to neuter the dogs, so you have problems with the dogs running away or fighting. The farm dog usually led the way as we went and would always check we were following him. The buildings at the bottom belong to the Airbnb hosts and the others are all abandoned. Here is some drone footage of this beautiful landscape. The next day we woke up to beautiful blue skies. We packed a day bag and set off for another hike. We watched the sunset and then headed back for the night to our Airbnb. The pigs chilled and the host prepared me dinner. The cheeses were made by a local farmer and the veg was all from the garden. She would always make a soup just like my gran used to do. Staying here really brought me back to my childhood when I would stay with my gran. She had a small farm and her pride and joy was her amazing vegetable garden. The girls were happy to turn in for the night. The next morning I woke up to no electricity and no water as the water pump was electric. This seemed to be a common occurrence here in the area. It seemed to be out for an hour or two at a time. The outdoor kitchen had a gas stove, so I could make my breakfast eggs. The farmer gave me some local meat to try. It was time for another hike and Foxy admired these beautiful purple flowers. The sheep had run away and the farmer was trying to find them. We searched the dense forest and the farmer made it up the hill in no time. The sheep must have been hiding in the shade as it was really hot and so hard to spot them. They were found in the evening, however. The farm dog joined us, and then the girls just wanted to go back to the farm to play. The pigs were enjoying the dinner as we got back. I then did a kettlebell workout in the garden. This was such a beautiful workout in nature, and to be honest, I had not really done much exercise since we left Vienna. The next morning, the girls patiently waited for me to come downstairs. We looked at the farmer's beekeeping area. The girls were more interested in the bush. I was shown the water well. There was an electric water pump, but if the electricity shut down, then they could still have access to water. We went on another walk. I could not get enough of the quiet and peace in the area. Once back on the farm, Amy was naughty and barked at the cats. The cats were really good at ignoring Amy. She's a bit of a barker, unfortunately. The host prepared dinner. The girls waited for their taste testing, of course. The sheep were finally found and brought back in. We admired the sunset, and then the girls were ready for bed. The next morning I saw the farmer dig up some potatoes. It was his son's birthday and they were preparing for a party. They did a spit roast sheep. He used a car battery to power the wheels so the spit roast was turned. He cooked it for about 6 hours. The wife made some nice, delicious sides with cheese and spinach. While we waited for the guests to arrive, we took another stroll into the hills. The pigs were chilling in the heat. I then discovered my girls had fleas. This was the first time they had ever had fleas. A spot on luckily got rid of the problem quickly. I have complained about Balkan coffee in my previous accommodations. Here they made the Turkish style coffee either on the gas or they used these electric coffee makers. I was told the trick is to let it boil and cool 3 times. It was definitely better than instant coffee, but I preferred the Italian style coffee. The spit roast was ready to be carved. The Balkan people are really hospitable and generous. They definitely have a really loving culture and parties are always fun. The next morning it was time to leave this remote countryside place and drive to Kotor, which was on the coast. The drive was down a narrow serpentine road where my reversing skills were tested many times. Please like and subscribe and we will see you in the next part of our trip.